Who are the top wizard skaters you need to know? Wizard skating is a relatively new discipline. It's not even 10 years old yet, but there are definitely some prominent figures who I'd say were the faces of this style and the ones to watch. In this video, we're going to go over the names you should know. All the stunts are performed by professionals. Do not attempt this yourself. Starting with the man who kicked the whole thing off, Leon Basin.
We should grab some bubble tea.
Leon created the wizard frame around 2014. The aim was to enhance the traditional inline skating experience and expand the boundaries of movements possible on skates. Wizard frames were designed to provide the most versatile experience of inline skating.
That was kind of the idea for the wizard.
And Leon's skating is the perfect example of everything he wanted to achieve and the range of possibilities. I mean, he has had a little bit of a head start. It would look a little bit awkward if he wasn't one of the top skaters. Being the creator and a pioneer of the discipline, he spent countless hours exploring and creating the moves, so there's a solid foundation, all of which can be seen in the Field Report series of videos, the Skate Move series, and wizard frame testing with the mushroom blading boys. A lot of the movements are developed on the flatland, but a key part of Leon's skill set is his ability to take it to different obstacles and various terrain. And it's here you see how versatile wizard skating can be through videos like DISEMBARK, the Church of Leon, and the Wizard of Wall Street, where you witness Leon skating around Rochester, Toronto, and predominantly New York City.
What's unique about New York is how crazy, how busy, how hectic the city is. Sometimes you feel like you're just surrounded by this blanket of craziness.
Smoothly cruising around the bustling city, utilising every feature he comes across, he turns a place into a massive playground and takes wizard skating beyond just swivels on the ground. It's a real test of skill applying the movements to a specific obstacle or stringing together movements in an area of multiple features. He's a bit of a chameleon and can adapt to the situation. He can also skate on more challenging terrain, and in the Wizard Advanced frame you see him skate the shoreline and the rocks of Victoria, Canada. Leon is always skating, always experimenting, always pushing wizard skating further, and not just in terms of the moves, but in terms of the products as well. So he's definitely one to watch. A person pivotal in capturing Leon's wizard skating is Mike Torres. He's a dab hand at filming and has a great understanding of what works for wizard skating because he's so good at it himself. He's responsible for the Church of Leon, the Wizard of Wall Street, and DISEMBARK, which he also features in.
What's your favorite type of projects that you have worked on skating?
Maybe the stuff with Leon is like,
I was thinking wizard blading
personal.
stuff.
Yeah, we made one called DISEMBARK. That, and then even the one that I made before with him called the Church of Leon. That one felt really special.
His first voyages into wizard skating came at a time when he was poking fun at how rigid core skating was, and wizard skating offered so many new ideas. I think it's this hunger for something different and something more to explore, to push rollerblading, that makes Mike Torres' wizard skating so appealing. He has a great understanding of footwork, edge control, and weight distribution, combined with an aggressive skating background and placed in New York City, an environment full of interesting architecture, features and obstacles. You get to see a really exciting side to the discipline. What's really interesting is seeing the ideas from wizard skating elevating Mike's aggressive skating. It's great seeing what he can transfer between the two styles. Whether he's filming the skating or being filmed himself, Mike Torres' involvement in wizard skating is something you should keep an eye on. If you're into the video, it'd be absolutely lovely if you gave us a like. I've got merch as well, so you can support me that way. I've got a Patreon. There's also channel membership. You've got sneak peeks, exclusive videos, that kind of stuff, and it all really helps. Cheers! Someone who's had quite a quick rise to prominence, like self-raising flower, is Nicola Torelli. He'd only been skating 4 or 5 years when he started to get recognition and sponsorship from the likes of Loco Skates and Undercover Wheels. He has a very natural looking style, and it's clear he's comfortable on skates. He did have a brief history of rollerblading as a kid.
I was skating when I was a kid, but I never really had anyone to skate with or to teach me things. I've always been really attracted by freestyle sports. I did snowboarding since I was a kid. I did a bit of skateboarding. I did a bit of breakdancing,
which all helped inform his style. When he first moved to London, he picked up free skates to explore the city and ended up meeting people through Friday Night Skate. And it's here he started to learn the freestyle moves and slides. His interest in aggressive skating drew him to the trick side of thing, and then he discovered mushroom blading and what Leon was doing with wizard skating, which became a huge inspiration. He was hooked on it, it became a massive passion, and any free time he had, he was on the skates. He obsessed about it, learning the foundations and diving deep into technique, which is very present in his skating and something he's not stopped chasing as well. He has a great ability to utilise the environment, choosing the right types of manoeuvres to get the most out of the spot and still being very technical. I can imagine his flowing style would definitely appeal to people outside of rollerblading, as he makes it look effortless when he's gliding around. He's since moved to Barcelona.
What made you decide to move from London to Barcelona?
Obviously, first thing, the weather.
But also, it's an environment where he can really highlight his skills. It's in this environment where I feel like he really shines and shows the potential of wizard skating. One of the pioneers of wizard skating is Stuart Brattey. He was there from the start and is responsible for inventing a whole host of manoeuvres. You can see him laying the foundations and experimenting with movements throughout the Skate Move series, which also features his brother Colin Brattey. His complex combination of twists, turns and glides is captivating, and it's done to such a high level of aptitude. You get to see the unbelievable control that he has, not just over the skates, but his awareness of his body as well. More of Stuart's wizard skating can be seen in the Field Report series. They show he has a very clear understanding of his equipment and can push its limitations. He skates with such conviction and purposeful movement. It looks far easier to do than it actually is in reality. It's this authority on the skates which makes him one of the best. Now those videos are predominantly flatland, but in the recent Victoria field trip you can see Stuart take his ability to other obstacles, and it's just another example of how good he is. You get to see more of his range and it just opens more doors of what's possible in wizard skating. He is a solid skater and somebody I'd like to see a lot more of. It's also worth noting his brother, Colin Brattey, played a huge part in the founding years and was there setting the standards. You can see his skating and skills all throughout the Skate Move series. Another style that's had a huge influence on wizard skating is mushroom blading. The name and style has its origins in the 90s and the term was first coined by Andy Cruz. But it was Todd McInerny and Joe McGarry's skating and videos that became the definition of it.
It just kind of was a name for any weird style or weird trick. It doesn't have to be weird. You can just go to a tennis court and start messing around with movement is kind of what it is now.
Its experimental or weird nature was an ideal characteristic for wizard skating, but also wizard skating would allow the pair to take their ideas even further, although they weren't actually too bothered with it at first.
When I made the wizard frames, Todd and Joey were so into that FR setup that they wouldn't even...
They didn't try the wizards?
They didn't want to start filming on this because we were in the process of filming for Big Wheels 2.
They were having so much fun on a normal rockered setup, they didn't really fancy the change at the time, but it wasn't long before they dived in and it all kicked off. The wizard skating opened up a whole new dimension for them. They had been pushing against the traditional core of aggressive skating, and just putting on the wizard skates was like a statement against the core in itself. It's like they were off the leash. Their skating in the Wizard Frame testing series would start to define what wizard skating was and what it could be. They're really good at merging the aggressive skating trick mentality with the enhanced maneuverability and stability of the wizard setup. They really dig down into rollerblade centric tricks, moves you just couldn't do in any other extreme sport, and that's what makes them so great. They can make it seem like random unplanned chaos, which sometimes it definitely is, but then in a split second bring it all back with a really flowing or refined precise movement, kind of like being on the waltzers. The mushroom blading boys are never not experimenting. They're always pushing the boundaries of what skating is, so they're definitely ones to watch. Now probably my personal favourite wizard skater is Junkyu Park. He looks like he's floating. If I could only show the world one wizard skater, it would be Junkyu. He is an unbelievable talent. Before he deleted his old Instagram account, you could see a lot of big wheel skating on there and slalom orientated wizard skating, which is heavily focused on footwork and flawless technique. which is ever present in his skating now. He has complete mastery over his skates. He knows their limitations and he knows how to utilize them fully. His hyper awareness of edge control and his weight distribution is unmatched, meaning he is able to pull off maneuvers other people simply can't do, or they certainly can't do as well. It's like Flight of the Navigator. So much training, knowledge and effort goes into what he's doing, but he's so good at it, it looks effortless and totally organic. It might be the most untraditional body movement with a snap adjustment that completely changes the direction of momentum and defies what your mind would predict would happen, but he'll make it look graceful and natural. People may often compare wizard skating to figure skating as some sort of put down, but I just see it as an acknowledgement of the unbelievable skill and fluid movements. I think it's really exciting taking something so graceful and then putting it in a more challenging environment and seeing what you can do with it. One of my favourite rollerblading edits is JK in 5D, again filmed by Mike Torres. You get to see JK applying his incredible craft to an unpredictable urban environment. It's captivating and further highlights his abilities. It's probably the best example of what can be achieved on wizard skates when you're in a more traditional aggressive skating environment, but also how you can go beyond the limitations of smaller wheels. It's like an urban version of a Swan Lake. All the excitement of aggressive skating, but a whole lot smoother. And without doubt, this video has influenced how people aggressive skate, and that's just testament to Junkyu's skill. It's also not surprising he's one of the most exciting aggressive skaters, in part due to his ability to transfer all that knowledge and skill he's gained from wizard skating and translate that into aggressive skating. There's a little bit of stigma around wizard skating that is for the older, aging rollerblader, but fighting back against that stigma and one to look out for in the future is Althaf Ramadhan. Even at a young age, the Indonesian Ripper has already shown great understanding and aptitude for wizard skating maneuvers. His Insta is full of him flowing around the city, dropping slides, swivels, heel presses. He's even doing how-to videos explaining how to do the tricks. He seems to have a natural ability for it and looks very comfortable in his skates. It's also interesting to see how someone younger approaches wizard skating as well. Definitely somebody to keep an eye on. Now hopping over to the UK, you've got Harry Abel.
Hi, I'm Harry Abel. You might remember me from such boring videos as this. Go and watch some cat videos on YouTube or something instead of our video, that's fine by me.
If you're aware of his aggressive skating, you'll know he's very technically proficient and creative. I think his inventiveness might be slightly overlooked actually. Knowing his skating and passion for the more uncommon tricks and movements, it makes sense he took to the wizard skating. His last edit, Harry and Scott again, sees him put out a full wizard part. What you'll notice straight away is the difference in spots compared to most wizard skating you'll see. Because it's in the UK, a lot of them are rough. They're certainly not the smooth surfaces that lend themselves to wizard skating, but that's what makes them and Harry's approach so interesting. It's a more challenging terrain and the spots bring a new element to the discipline. However, if it wasn't for Harry's abilities, trying to skate them would either be unmanageable or look completely dog shit. Another person to keep an eye on from the UK is Jürgen. What's really great about Jürgen's wizard skating is he doesn't just stick to flatland, although he is like there on the flatland all the time, obsessing over moves and constantly practicing. He also takes it to the more rugged and challenging obstacles. Because he uses an aggressive boot, there's also opportunity there for grinds, further blending the two disciplines, and I think he's a really exciting person to watch for that. I also think he's probably one of the few people that's moving it in that direction and taking on like big jumps and drops as well. These are some of the names I think you should keep an eye on, but things are always growing. More and more often, other talented aggressive skaters are moving into it as well. The likes of Michael Witzman, Colin Kelso, Michael Kraft, Thomas aka Spare a Shilling. There's crews as well like Pop putting out great content, and I'm sure soon we'll have even more new names emerging. Who's your favourite wizard skater? Cheers to all my patrons for supporting me, helping me to continue to make these videos. You can join them for as little as £3 a month. Here's a couple of other videos you can watch in the meantime. See you again soon. Spotty Dog.